Too comfortable with Tesla's autopilot. Those are the words admitted during testimony of the driver involved in a 2019 deadly crash that killed 22-year-old Nabil Benavides. Now, attorneys from Singleton Schreiber LLP, they're leading the lawsuit that claims the malfunction of Tesla's autopilot, which the plaintiff was driving, caused the incident. So we want to get now to our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. And Khalif, what are you making right now of this case?
Well, I mean, this is going to be Tesla's first opportunity to be challenged in court in front of a jury for their autopilot. And so I'm watching this to see how this case goes. Tesla's maintained the entire time that they've done nothing wrong. The plaintiffs in this case are alleging a number of things. First of all, that this young woman lost her life. Her husband at the time as well was in the vehicle, also injured. His family is connected with this claim. But it's a couple things. We're saying negligence, and I walk folks through negligence claims a lot here on the air. It's a duty, a breach, causation, and damages. Damages can be any type of injury, death being the worst type of injury. And so obviously damages are there. Duty. Do you have a duty to protect and ensure that the product that you put in a person's hands works like it's supposed to? And then breach. Have you breached that by failing to do something? In this situation, they say that the failure was a design flaw and that it was properly maintained and monitored. And then the last thing is causation. It's but for you failing to do these things, would this individual have been harmed? Would this individual in this situation still be alive? And that's the argument that they'll make in front of a jury. And a couple things. The individual saying that he grew too comfortable is something that would go to plaintiff's side to say, look, this product that you purchased, you believe set a standard, lived up to the standard, and now has failed to meet that standard. And because it failed to meet the standard, now my client has been harmed or injured or killed. The last portion I'll say is that when you create something like this, you have to have safeguards in place to monitor it. And they pointed that Tesla could see, could monitor, could recognize that the driver was misusing the product and failed to do anything while they could see that he was misusing it. So I think that plaintiffs have laid out a case where now it's going to be Tesla's opportunity to prove that this autopilot is something that is safe to be on the road, where for years it's been fighting against public perception, now in the courtroom.
It's funny, the phrase too comfortable almost sounds like the driver admitting fault. And the driver did say that at the time of the crash, they were reaching down to grab a cell phone that had fallen, which, according to Tesla's autopilot policies, procedures, the way that you're supposed to be operating it, you are supposed to have either hands close to the wheel, attention to the road. So how is it possible that this case can both admit user error and call it a design flaw?
Well, I think that the admission of user error was flushed out through Tesla's arguments, through cross, and a little bit on direct. But the process with this is, hey, I'm driving this vehicle, and he's saying, as you're allowing the car to kind of drive itself using the autopilot or the full self-driving feature, at some point it gives you that level of confidence like it can do it on its own. And so that what I think helped plaintiffs and hurt plaintiffs. Tesla saying you're misusing the product in the way that we intended it to be used. But on the other hand, what features do you have if you know this is something that could or potentially has happened in the past? And that's what I would argue if I'm plaintiff's attorney. You guys know that people are over-relying on your program. You're over-relying on your full self-driving. And because that, what do you have in place? Is there some eye detection? Does it recognize that the hands aren't close enough? These are the things that will be placed out. And what data do you have to support that this is something that's safe, even if the person disregards the safe protocols that you have in place? Then I think that's what will get flushed out here. The government has said for a number of years that these vehicles, in terms of that feature, is not safe. This isn't the first pushback that they've gotten. This is literally the first time they'll have to answer for the arguments that have been made against full self-driving vehicles and autopilot vehicles in front of a jury. And I'll leave folks with this. Putting this in front of a jury is something that Tesla didn't want to happen. While you may be able to argue on paper that our vehicles are safe, that the documents and the numbers can support it, when you put pictures up of a person and her family, and you get the family talking about how this has impacted them, and you get the family of the individual, if he takes the stand, who was in the car and was injured, and how it changed and shaped his life, you don't want that. Even if you have the stats behind you, you can't get around the imagery that puts in a jury's mind.
And one more question for you, Khalif. Do you think that, again, it's about perception? I felt too comfortable. It was an autopilot car. technology companies, they want people to grab hold with these flash names. This is a self-driving car.
Yep.
Do you think that maybe, should this go against Tesla, we would see things where it's not self-driving, but assisted driving?
I think the words do matter, right? But part of their intrigue, part of the way they pitch this, part of the way they get folks connected and hooked on wanting to have these types of vehicles is that autonomy, that being able to say, you can do more things. Yeah, you're supposed to be paying attention and looking forward and holding your hands, but the suggestion, the nug and wink is like, yeah, but you can if you want to, because you also can do these other things. You don't have to be fully focused on driving, even though there's an alert that comes up in front of you that says you should be fully focused. The intention, the implication is that I'm getting this so I don't have to do the driving to get home. And I know myself included was like, hey, this is something I want to have because I don't want to have to worry about driving myself home. But when you read the manual, when you look at the things in the fine print, it's suggesting that you shouldn't. But the advertising, the push is that you can.
Right. All right, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, thank you so much for your take on this. We appreciate it.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.